Here's something strange. Almost everyone believes they'll finally start saving money once they earn more. A bigger paycheck, a better job, a promotion. It sounds logical. But if that were true, why do so many people making six figures still live paycheck to paycheck? Why does every raise seem to disappear within weeks? And why do millions of Americans earn more than they ever have before, yet still feel like they're falling behind? This isn't bad luck. It's a psychological trap, and the most dangerous part is that it doesn't feel like a trap while you're living inside it. Nobody wakes up and decides to make themselves financially stressed. Instead, it happens one small decision at a time. A slightly nicer apartment, a slightly newer car, one more subscription, a dinner that doesn't seem like a big deal. Individually, none of them look like mistakes. Together, they quietly rewrite your financial future. To understand why, let's meet two people who started in exactly the same place. Alex and Chris are both 27, software engineers who just accepted offers from the same tech company in Austin, Texas. Same starting salary, $78,000 a year. Same insurance, same bonus structure, even the same apartment layout. For the first few months, their lives are almost impossible to tell apart. They split a modest two-bedroom to keep rent low, cook dinner together most evenings, and both drive old cars that have seen better days. Neither feels rich, neither feels poor. They're simply trying to build a better life. Then, 6 months in, both receive their first performance review and the exact same raise, $9,000. Neither expected it, both celebrate. But within a few weeks, they make two completely different decisions, and neither one realizes he's quietly choosing two completely different futures. Alex looks around his apartment and thinks he's worked hard for this, and maybe it's finally time to enjoy life a little. So he moves into his own one-bedroom, replaces his unreliable sedan with a leased BMW 3 Series, buys a few better clothes for work, and starts meeting coworkers for dinner more often. From the outside, every decision looks responsible. Most people would probably congratulate him. Chris gets the same raise, but makes himself one promise. He'll live like he still makes his old salary, just for one more year. He stays in the shared apartment, buys a reliable 5-year-old Honda Civic with cash, keeps cooking at home most nights, and sets up an automatic transfer into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund before he ever sees the money. Nobody notices. If anything, Chris looks like the guy refusing to enjoy his own success. At office lunches, Alex sometimes jokes that Chris can afford something nicer now. Chris laughs, but deep down, even he wonders if he's being too cautious. And that's exactly why this story matters, because at this point, almost everyone watching would probably choose Alex's life. Most people think saving gets easier once income rises. Instead, something strange happens. Your life quietly expands to match your paycheck, not because you're irresponsible, because you're human. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation, our tendency to quickly get used to a better lifestyle until it simply feels normal. The apartment that once felt luxurious becomes just my apartment. The new car stops feeling exciting after a few months. Nothing feels extravagant anymore. It just feels like life. That's where the trap begins. A year passes. Alex and Chris are both earning more than they ever imagined in college, and their friends see both of them as successful. But beneath the surface, something invisible has started to grow. Not in their salaries, in their habits. Alex's monthly expenses have quietly climbed. Higher rent, a car lease, more nights out, a gym membership he barely uses, a streaming service he forgot he subscribed to. None of these decisions felt dangerous on their own. Together, they consume almost every dollar of his raise. On payday, his account looks healthy. 2 weeks later, it somehow feels empty again. Every month he tells himself he'll start saving next month. Next month never comes. Chris's life looks almost unchanged. His apartment isn't impressive, his car doesn't turn heads, and some coworkers quietly assume he isn't doing very well financially. They couldn't be more wrong, because every payday, before Chris spends a single dollar, $400 leaves his checking account automatically and goes straight into that index fund. He never has to decide. He never has to rely on motivation. He removed willpower from the equation equation entirely. Behavioral economists have studied this for years. The less often you're forced to make a financial decision, the more likely you are to stick with it. Automation beats discipline almost every time. Then, something unexpected happens. About 18 months in, Chris's Honda starts making a strange noise, and the mechanic calls with bad news. The transmission needs major repairs at a cost of $2,400. For a moment, Chris wonders if everyone else was right, and buying used wasn't so smart after all. Meanwhile, Alex's BMW drives perfectly, fully covered under warranty. No repair bill, no stress, no inconvenience. For the first time, Alex genuinely feels like he made the smarter financial decision. And honestly, in the short term, he probably did. Studies from organizations like J.D. Power consistently show lower mechanical failure rates during a vehicle's first several years of ownership. Reality isn't always simple. Sometimes the expensive option really is better, and that's what makes this lesson so difficult. If the story ended here, Alex wins. Better apartment, better car, fewer headaches. A lifestyle most people would gladly choose. But money is one of the few games where the winner isn't decided after 18 months. It's decided years later. Because while Alex is solving today's problems, Chris is quietly buying something nobody can see: time. And time is the only investment that can multiply money without asking you to work harder. 5 years pass. Alex and Chris are both 32 now, each promoted multiple times, each earning just over $115,000 a year. From the outside, their lives still look remarkably similar, but look at one number and everything changes: net worth. Chris has quietly built around $185,000. Alex's sits closer to $60,000. Same career, same income, same city, a completely different financial future. How? Not because Chris invested in the next Apple, started a business, or inherited money. It was something far less exciting. He simply repeated one small decision every single month. That's how compounding really works. It rarely changes your life overnight. Instead, it changes your direction. And over time, direction becomes destiny. Think about two roads that start only a few inches apart. Walk 10 miles, and those same roads might end in completely different cities. Money behaves the same way. Every month, Alex leased another car. Chris bought another piece of the world's biggest companies through an index fund. Alex collected experiences. Chris collected ownership. Neither choice felt dramatic in the moment, but repetition is more powerful than intensity. Here's something almost nobody tells you. The biggest enemy of wealth isn't spending, it's invisible spending. The upgraded phone plan, the premium subscriptions, food delivery because you're tired, the gym membership you barely visit. Each one is easy to justify, and that's exactly why they're dangerous. No single expense ruins your future. They work together, quietly, patiently, month after month, like tiny holes in a bucket. You don't notice the leak until the bucket is empty. Chris isn't perfect. There are months when he wants the nicer apartment, months when he wonders if he's missing out, months when he questions whether saving so aggressively is even worth it. Unlike buying something nice, investing doesn't make you feel successful today. It asks you to believe in someone you'll become years from now. That's surprisingly hard. Economists call this present bias. Our brains naturally value today's happiness over tomorrow's freedom, not because we're lazy, but because that's how humans evolved. Thousands of years ago, surviving tomorrow mattered far more than a retirement 40 years away. The problem is that modern money still has to obey ancient psychology. Then one Friday afternoon, everything changes. Chris opens his investment account out of pure curiosity and notices something strange. His portfolio gained more than $1,300 that month. He didn't work overtime, didn't get a bonus, didn't sell anything. His money made money. For the first time, his investments earned more in a month than he personally managed to save. That's the moment most people never reach. Before this point, you build wealth. After this point, wealth begins helping build itself. It isn't magic. It's simply compounding, reaching a size where it becomes visible. The first few years it whispers, then one day it starts speaking loudly. And once you hear it, you never think about money the same way again. Fast forward another 20 years. Alex and Chris are both 52. Both became senior managers. Both raised families. Both worked hard. Neither one was lazy, but their financial lives now look like they belong to two different worlds. Chris didn't become wealthy because he earned dramatically more. He became wealthy because every raise had a job before it ever reached his checking account. Each promotion increased his investments first and his lifestyle second. Alex did the opposite. Each raise made life a little more comfortable. A slightly bigger home, a newer SUV, better vacations. None of it was irresponsible, and it created wonderful memories, but it also created higher monthly obligations. And once a lifestyle expands, it almost never shrinks willingly. Morgan Housel writes in The Psychology of Money that wealth is what you don't see. It's the car you decided not to buy, the vacation you postponed, the upgrade you quietly skipped. Nobody compliments those decisions. Nobody notices them, but your future self does, because every dollar you choose not to spend doesn't just stay a dollar. Given enough time, it becomes many dollars, and eventually it becomes freedom. Freedom to change careers, retire earlier, or say no to a job you hate. That's what money quietly buys, not luxury, options. Picture one final scene. Alex and Chris are sitting together at a coffee shop, just like they did 25 years earlier. Alex looks at Chris and smiles. "I always thought you were sacrificing your life." Chris laughs. "So did I sometimes." Then Alex asks the question almost everyone eventually asks. "If you could go back, would you still drive the old Civic?" Chris looks out the window for a second, then says, "It was never about the car. It was about buying time for the person I hadn't become yet." That's the part most people miss. The Civic wasn't the investment. The index fund wasn't the investment. Even the money wasn't the investment. The investment was giving his future self a chance. Saving money doesn't feel impossible because you're bad with money. It feels impossible because every raise quietly invites you to upgrade your life. The challenge isn't earning more. It's making sure your lifestyle grows slower than your income. That's the gap where wealth is born. Not overnight, not through one lucky investment, but through hundreds of ordinary decisions that almost nobody applauds. The people who become financially free aren't usually making perfect decisions. They're simply making slightly better decisions for a very long time. So the next time you get a raise, don't ask what you can afford now. Ask a different question. Which version of your future are you about to pay for? Because every paycheck is a vote for comfort today or freedom tomorrow. Most people don't lose the money game because of one catastrophic mistake. They lose because they slowly build a life that quietly spends every dollar they earn. The good news is the opposite is true too. One small habit repeated month after month can completely change where your life ends up. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but someday you'll open your investment account and realize your money worked harder than you did that month. That's the moment you'll understand something most people never do. Saving money was never the goal. Buying freedom was. If this story changed the way you think about money, subscribe, because the next story might save you years of financial mistakes. See you in the next one.